So, hello and welcome to the final video number 5 in this little series on why social media is good for your business. And this one is, we're kind of just going to, wrap up and pull together what we talked about on the other video clips and essentially let's look at, what's the bottom line here? What's the bottom line on social media? I think that, well, the bottom line in my view is this. I think there are very few businesses out there now who wouldn't benefit from social media in some shape or form. The question really becomes on what you're going to choose and how you're going to use it. So my little sort of parting pieces of advice on this is to say, well, before you just kind of dive in and go mad with it, stop and think about what you're doing and why you're doing it. So give your social media marketing a purpose. That purpose could be something like using it for customer services purposes. It could be specifically to sell and drive traffic to a sales page on your website. It could be to inform people and keep them updated on stuff. It could be to educate people and showcase your own expertise in your market. It could be simply to entertain people, keep them amused, or it could be to convince them to try something new, convince them to change their minds on something. And I think if you just decide, where you think you want to sort of fit on this. I think what can often go wrong is people just sort of think, oh my God, quick, I've got to get a Facebook page up. And they just, put one up and then just, chuck stuff out without really stopping to think about what they're doing and why they're doing it. On one of my workshops recently, somebody sort of said to me that on their Facebook page, they just slam stuff out. And I sort of think, well, that's really not the spirit of it. And you're probably not going to get great results from it. So it's really about the engagement and the having a conversation with people. The other thing that I would say is don't go mad with it in terms of having lots and lots of accounts. So there is no law that says you must be on Google Plus and LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Pinterest. Pick one or two, the ones that you think are most appropriate for your business, and do them well. And watch, spend more time on one or two rather than trying to spread yourself really thin across, the whole gamut of sort of social media platforms. You'll just get nowhere. You'll just run yourself ragged and then you'll wonder why you're not getting any results. So pick one or two and do it well. The other thing I would say is think about the people that are using it and how they're using it and why they're using it, which we talked about in the very in the video number 2. And I think you've got to consider that even if you're a business and your goal is to connect with serious business people and you want to use Facebook, you've got to consider that when that serious business person is on Facebook, they're using it as an individual, not as a business owner. So the person who's using it might be sort of sat there, there might be a very, CEO of a big organisation, but when they're on Facebook, they're much more likely to be maybe in their gym jams, with a laptop on their knee, just sort of reading through posts from their own friends and family. They're not necessarily going to want to do business with you, in their leisure time, when they're looking at Facebook. So you just got to sort of consider those kinds of things when you're deciding what kind of content to put out, and it's even more of a good reason to not just sort of slam business messages out there. This is not 1980s. It's not The Apprentice, where with people sort of selling machines, just sort of trying to get in people's faces. This is much more subtle than that. So just to sort of consider that. And my last point really is, spend some time to get involved in the conversation. It's not a one-way marketing technique. It's a two-way marketing technique. So don't just, again, I've said this before, don't just chuck stuff out there and hope for the best. Put stuff out there, but try and look for feedback, and then look at your analytics and work out which posts succeeded and had the best response, and then look to see how you can replicate that with more content. Don't just think of it as something that you can just do and then ignore. The conversation is actually vitally important to success in this, and spend a little bit of time just watching and listen, what they call social listening. Watch what people are interacting with and how they're interacting with it, and see if you can learn from that to sort of take it forward into your own social media strategy. So that's really all I've got to sort of say on this. This brings us to the end of this little sort of series. I hope there was something in there that resonates for you, and I wish you all the best of luck with your social media endeavours. If you've got any queries or would like to sort of get in touch with me, these are my details. It's Jackie at Bright Spark Marketing. Thank you for watching and listening to me talk about this, and hopefully see you on another webinar. Thank you then. Bye-bye.